ಹಲೋ, ನೀವೊಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮಾತಾಡಿ.
ಹಲೋ,
ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದನೇ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆತ ಅಂತ ನೋಡಿ.
ಹಲೋ, ಪ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡಿ. ಬರ್ತಾರೆ.
ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ನಮ್ಮದು ಸ್ಕೂಲಲ್ಲಿ in my engineering class we have to interview a professional in the STEM field. So I would like to interview you. Firstly, can you please describe your job field, where you work, what engineering field you're in?
Okay, so I work for a company called GE Healthcare. So my role is to ensure the GE Healthcare company produces medical devices, X-ray, MR, CT, ultrasound machines, which these machines are used for diagnosing any disease or any challenges with human body, and gives that okay, here is the problem, and based on that analysis doctors will prescribe the right treatment. It can be a surgery, it can be normal treatment with medicines, right? So depending on the type of problem the patient has, that's how they treat it. So when it comes to my profession, I work as a IT leader, which we take care of all the transactions of selling our machines, and also ensuring those machines which are sold to customer, we also go and do the right servicing for them timely. So when I say customer, we have two types of customer. First customer is our hospitals, and second customer, the next level of customers are doctors who uses the equipment and who are the operators in the hospital. So in summary, my role is to ensure we are selling the right equipment for the right customer, making sure we are earning the revenue for company. At the same time, we are also ensuring we give the right service, customer service for the customer, in terms of supporting them whenever there is a issue with the equipment, making sure equipment is well serviced timely basis, so that patients do not have any challenges, and customer is happy, patient is happy. So that's the whole motive.
I see. So what is your what is the job title, the exact
My job title is Senior Director for Software Engineering in GE Healthcare.
Okay. So what is your average work schedule?
What is my average work schedule? So my daily work schedule is 10 to 11 hours. So since we work in, mine is a global role. So our company is a global company. So most of our customers are spread across in US, Europe, Middle East, India. But our team is also spread across in India, Europe and US. So we have interactions, exchange our information, having meetings, the work what we are doing, so that we try to track. So work schedule average in a daily base, it goes up to 10 to 11 hours.
So around 50 weekly. 50 hours.
50 hours in a week.
55. Starting with high school, describe your full educational background chronologically. I don't know anything about PUC and all that. So
okay. So I 10th standard I studied in India, Bangalore, state syllabus. So I completed high school with the 10th standard. Then we went for pre-university, which is called +1 and +2, where you learn maths, science. So those are the key subjects. Then after that I took a common entrance test, which is for professional courses, which can be engineering or medical. So I chose to go for engineering course, which is a 4-year course, where I took a stream of computer science engineering. So that was my entire 4 years graduation. After the graduation, I took up a job. My first job was Oracle India. So it was a software company. I joined as a software engineer there.
So what was the college called that you went for the 4-year course?
College, it is called BMS.
BMS.
Yeah.
Okay. If you had to do anything over, be it while doing education or choosing a career, would you do anything differently?
Yeah, I was interested to get into police service. Okay. So I have always had a passion of getting into a police service. I also went for some trainings and all. I couldn't get selected because of my the physical test what I went through. I couldn't succeed. So that was my passion. So along with before I got into engineering course, I was looking into get into a Indian police service so that I go and contribute, help the society.
I see. What advice would you give me as someone interested in pursuing a career like yours?
So yeah, good question. See, it depends in terms of what is you are passionate about. So unlike 2 decades back, 20 years back, the choice of career were really, very limited. Now you have lot of choice. The choice is happening in it can be with aeronautical spaces or with life sciences, and then with new way of technology, that is artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is not only particular to stream, it is for every stream. You take it in agriculture, you take it in education, you take it in hospital, everywhere artificial intelligence are coming. So my piece of advice will be that look up to your strength. What is that you are good at? What is that you like to do? Would you be going to be focusing on life science, where you want to go for medicals and all? Yeah, that can be a choice. No, I'm more want to go into a technology related. So technology, it need not be only engineering. Technology is also widespread across. So you can get into automobile, you can get into machinery, you can get into computer science, right? Then at the same time, various technologies are coming in aeronautical spaces. Then what is it? Even in the education, right? Education is also now, if you look at, it's more going through the virtual classrooms. More unlike the physical class trainings are very limited now because of too many technologies coming, and visually impactful trainings are happening. So whichever you choose to be, go. Or the other option is also on the finance streams. Like if you want to understand global economy, you want to contribute into country's growth about GDP or company's growth. So that's also another choice. So it's widespread across. So my piece of advice is sit, understand, look up to what is you are passionate about, and find the right option.
If I am passionate about being an engineer like you, exactly your position, then what should I do? What advice would you give me?
So I think if you want to be into engineering, right? So certainly 2 things. One, start studying about what is happening in the globe. When it comes, see, engineering is widespread across. It is not one vertical stream. It is horizontal. So you need to start spending in a week 30 minutes. There are so many information is available in the internet or in the YouTube. Make sure 30 minutes you reserve in a week, okay? And just explore, go through, search through that, okay, in terms of engineering, right? What is happening in the globe? Outside of USA, what is happening? Inside of the USA, how each country is contributing and what all the new technologies are coming, right? So if you keep learning, when you get into a graduation, you will be more well equipped. You have more information. So when you get into a course, you will be knowing that, okay, what is happening in the industry, what is happening in the world, so that you can correlate. And then accordingly, you can stream your education. Because 10, 20 years back, you didn't have this option. There was no exploration. So this is one thing I would say. Dedicatedly, just keep and talk to such kind of people who have been into the engineering. Find out through your parents, whoever is the right one, and go with your questions, constructed questions to figure out. You'll find a lot of information. I think that will lead you to the right way to move forward.
So you are also talking about AI. So how does that affect your job right now, like at the present moment? How are you using that?
It's a great question. So AI in healthcare, right? It is creating a lot of positive impacts. So one of the thing which I use the word precision healthcare. So it is widely used, which is very common in our field as well, medical. What it means is when we are diagnosing any patient, right? How precisely we can tell where exactly the issue is, how much depth is the problem, so that doctors will be well aware of it, and when they see the report, they know exactly what they need to give treatment. But earlier, what used to happen is we used to get a symptom. Okay, here is the problem, and we do the scanning. But then doctor also used to try out, give X medicine, then try for Y medicine. Now, what AI is helping is not only in the medical, it is also in the pharmacy. They are trying to narrow down that, okay, for this issue, here is the medicine. So that's the precision healthcare is really getting more and more beneficial. I think this is going to be a long way. One. The second piece is lot of variables are coming in the medical industry where you wear. It tries to read your pulse, skin, tries to orchestrate the information and give a predictive information for you so that you will be well equipped to understand and then take the necessary steps which are minor. So this is where AI is helping in the healthcare field.
So by 2035, what do you think it would have helped? How do you think would have changed? Would it still be going on this path, or do you see another trend?
So if you have heard agentic AI, this is the new term coming from the last 1 year. So what it means, for example, if you look at in a hospital, if your operation is happening, if you have seen in the movie or anywhere, right, a patient is lying on the bed, there will be at least 4 or 5 members of a hospital crew will be operating. There will be a senior doctor, junior doctor, assistants, right? Now, just visualize if it is done by robot, okay? Just patient is lying, robot is doing, and agents. When I say agents, they don't exist physically, but they are all in the machine. How these humans are trying to help to operate one person, there will be artificial agents that will come across. Something will be monitoring, something will be operating, something will be reading. So this is how the picture will be in 2035, where it will be completely operated by AI agents.
So you see AI as a tool for growth, but do you also see it as a threat in any way?
Yes. See, AI has to be used as a co-pilot, okay, and human has to be the master pilot, okay. So it has to be a companion, right? So there is a threat as well. Threat in the sense, if you do not use it in a right way, of course it will create a disaster. Same thing when I talked about operating a person in the healthcare, right? One of the example I gave, right? If we are not educating the AI tool in a way and it is not learning with various reasons, it can lead to various impacts, right? So that's one. The second one is like how responsibly we use it and we calibrate that. We have to keep validating whatever it is doing, just not accepting it, but at the same time validating. That's where we call co-piloting it. So human has to partner to drive that, rather just leaving it to AI to do anything. So that is the advantage and disadvantage, and it is a fine balance. And this is not only with hospital or healthcare, it is everywhere. You take up your automobile car, including the Tesla or anything, right? If it is not well governed and well oiled, it will create a disaster.
I see. Okay, so what are some of your passions outside of work?
Outside of work, especially I'm engaged with the CSR activity. CSR is a corporate social responsibility. What it means, the company which I work, right? We try to go and help the societies, the needy people. It can be underprivileged students or underprivileged senior citizens. We try to go. So I'm closely engaged with that to drive that, make sure that they get benefited. I enjoy helping them. That's one. The second is I more enjoy watching movies, storytelling. Third, I like to do mentoring. So I do mentoring for some of my junior colleagues, not only in my company, outside. So with the social network, people come, try to talk about career advice, what should be the next step, and some of the people having challenges in communicating with their colleagues and having some difficult conversation, right? So how to go and say no. Saying no is also an art, right? How do we say no? How do we articulate that in example? So those kind of things, I do it as a mentoring. So those are my, other than regular work, I try to contribute such kind of things.
So how do you maintain that balance of also working and also doing these extra passions?
See, this is again goes back to your passion. If you are really interested, you will take out a time. So you will find a time, and if you want to make that happen, yeah, certainly there will be a stretch. Somewhere you have to make sure your work is not impacted, or do the fine balance in between. And it's not everyday work, right? So what we do, so you have to find balance it. And today morning also I got an invite. So one of the colleagues sent a note saying that he needs to find some time to talk about some of the challenges what he is going through. So those kind of conversation, it comes with passion. If you have a passion, if you are interested, you will find a some time.
I see. So, to your about your job, what do you think is the, because you work with people in India and here, what do you think is the difference in the mindset between people who work in India and here? Is there any?
Yeah, there are two things. One, when you work, people like in USA, right? So some of the conversations when we go, it goes with thoughtful. Like, okay, sometimes people also ask like, okay, why do I need to do? What is the benefit of doing, right? And in India, sometimes people just consider it as a task. Okay, it has come to me, I have to do it. So it's a cultural aspect. So India has been into a culture where it's changing now, but periodically what happened is we were all into that mode where, okay, if someone tells us, just do it, okay, without asking any question. But now things are changing, okay. But again, it's an influence that we are adapting from Western countries, that, okay, when you try to accept anything, just think about why do we need to do? What is the benefit of it? Who is getting benefited? And is it really needed to do now, right? So those kind of asking questions before accepting to do anything, right? I think that is the fundamental thing which Western countries, especially USA, is demonstrating. And again, it goes with the culture of education, because in the school or in the academy, maybe in the USA, they have that kind of culture that, okay, imbibe that them, oh no, you need to ask first before taking anything, right? But in India, that was not the case. So the culturally, it was like, okay, just accept it. When you say something, just accept it. Do not ask question. And even with teachers as well, right? We never used to go and ask that, okay, why is that? We were just accepting it. But with all this influence, things are changing. I would say this is the cultural aspect which is a driving factor. But now India is also coming to the equivalent where, because when you look at the technology aspect, how it is happening is because they are also trying to understand the global problem and ask the questions before accepting. I think this is the fundamental difference when I see between when I work with India and USA.
I see. So you said that it's partly because of the education that also the mindset has grown like that. So when you were in education, did you feel that there could be a couple of things that could be changed in the education to make it better and to make it more appealing and to make it more understanding to other than, this?
Yeah, many times I felt it, because when I was studying, right, the way education policy put across was very, very constrained. Okay, if you choose to do, because when we were studying, we didn't had a global exposure. One, that was our challenge. The second was very limited options in building the career. So we always felt that, okay, if I study engineering, I have to be engineer, right? But I never thought that, okay, I can also go and become a doctor, because the path for that was not well defined. So if someone wants to go and discover, it was like a challenging way to figure it out, right? Because there was no defined guideline. There was no clear articulation principles written that, okay, you do this, then it will be there, right? This was something we all struggled during that phase of 90s, right? And then things started trying to understand, but I think still long way to go, because this has to be more liberated, federated model when it comes, okay, you study one thing and you can do other things as well, need not be constrained to the same thing, right? But same thing, when I look up to the people working in Europe or USA, right? So they would have done a master's in economics or bachelor's in arts, but they will be doing a computer work, right? Because they have understood the way of working, and technology is just a commodity, right? You just adapt it. So that kind of things would have been better when we were studying. But now I see that because it's not education has changed, but the exposure has come in. So the students of this age are able to understand, oh, there is no one single guideline, you need to figure out, and there are ways to do it. I think that was the guideline was missing for us.
What is something that you really liked about the education, or that you wish they would do more, or that was really
Where?
in India when you took the engineering education or high school education? What did you really like?
What did I really like? So I think one thing is what I liked, especially when we curate the things, teaching wise education. Now they are mapping down to a life skill. Means what is that you need to achieve in the life, like where you want to make your life out of it, right? It can be your earnings, it can be your life savers, right? I think that is what is coming now, because earlier when I say I didn't like it, but what I'm liking now is that the streams what they're defining, right? The curation of academics what they're defining is relevant to the industry. So what in the world they are looking for jobs, I think that is getting defined now. So your education streams, academics, what are getting defined is almost mapping to what is needed in the world, what kind of job is needed. I think that is one thing is getting improved. I liked about it, but this was not there earlier.
Yeah. So what I'm asking is, what when you were taking that course, or when you were in that class, when you were in being educated, what did you enjoy, and what do you think other cultures, other places could take from that part of the education?
Maybe the college which I studied and the lecturers who did, I was fortunate enough, we got more liberty with them, and we were more friendlier to them. They were able to, because maybe there were not much gaps of experiences what they had. I think that was one thing I enjoyed. Okay, but was it helping me? Maybe not, but I enjoyed. So it's a contradictory answer. So your question was, what did I like about it in my education, right? So this was something I liked about it, okay, which really helped me. But at the same time, it could have been better when it was handled in a way they were talking with, because it was not well thought through. But I liked about it because it was I was comfortable about adapting it, and that's how I liked it.
Nice.
I don't know, did that answer your question
So,
in a straight way?
An example is, a lot of some of my friends, maybe they don't like that it's required that we take a world language elective in school. But then, say 10 years down the line, they realize, oh, that's a really good thing. I need to speak Spanish with the people here. I need to go to Germany and speak German over there. So that's a really good thing. And maybe in Europe, they don't require you to have a extra language. So maybe it's like, okay, they should do that. That's a really good thing that our school is doing. So what was something like that for you?
There was nothing great about our education, honestly speaking. Okay, so I'll be reiterating them. But as I say, right, I think these were the things which would have given, like, it can be the language. I would use this always a federated model. Federated model depends, means you have options, right? It's open over there, and you can go and adapt for it, right? I think those kind of options were not there. So in bottom line, if you ask me what did I like, I didn't like anything. But it was well structured for it, because we didn't had much exposure at that point of time. We continued to follow to it. Okay. So if only the one which I enjoyed was the college which I went. It was more liberated. So they gave all the.
You could openly talk with your
We
teachers.
can openly talk about it, and we were able to do all the possible things. So learn about it. So that was one good thing helped us.
One more question. How did your friends support you through, and how did you support your friends through this
So
process?
friends, that's a good question, because while I was growing up, right, one advantage we had was again networking with the friends. So we didn't had mobiles, right? But however, we built the connect because of the common thread. The common likings, right? So it can be with our subjects, it can be our thinking process, right? How do we think? And it can also be the common habits, it can be with the common sports. So these things helped us in exchanging our information. Whatever I said, I used to validate with other friends that okay, I have understood in a right way, or sometimes I would have understood in not in a right way, and they used to teach me. Same thing used to happen with me. That's one. The second thing again, in terms of getting prepared for our exams or anything, right? So always mutual conversation, studying together, sharing our notes was helpful. And again, the materials. If one of the friend has got a good material, and they used to socialize rather than keeping them, they used to socialize. Okay, here is one. If you would like, you can take it. Nobody used to insist, but they used to socialize. I think that was the second thing which helped us to gain more and more knowledge. The third thing is when we were getting into completion of education, getting into job. So again, socializing about the job opportunities and helping. I think all this at each level, friends helped during our education, and I hope that will continue with this generation as well, because now you have various medium to connect. You have your social media, you have your mobile, you have your media channels, right, where you can get connected and have the conversation. But during our studies we didn't had it. But that, I think that's where we were more valuing our human relationship. We were caring each other because we were not often talking. So any time we used to define a time. At this point of time, we used to meet in a week or a day. People used to come because we didn't had a frequent communication. I think that was something which kept us with human bonding.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, thanks, man. Nice questions. He constructed all questions on the fly. Very good. Yeah, no, firstly, I have to compliment the way you curated the question, right? How much you had noted on, I don't know. But as and when I kept on answering, you kept on building the questions on it. So, how did you come up all these questions?
We had like, I think, 4 questions that we had to ask, but then the rest I was just asking, and then when you answered, I got more questions, so I just kept asking.
So, but when you kept asking, right, what was going in your mind? Like, okay, is it like, okay, I need to get more information, grab more information. So, what was the thought process going on when you are constructing the question?
The thought process going on, let's say when you said, when you started talking about AI, I was like, that was actually one of my questions, AI, but that wasn't my exact question. So when you were talking about that, I was like, okay, so this isn't the correct question to ask. Let's ask a better question that would probably make more sense in this scenario, because this question wouldn't have made sense. Or when we were talking about friendship, that's the last question. I got that because like right here, how is the friendship different from how it works there, how you guys support each other, and you working at India versus here, that was one of the questions. But only how the education is over there, I hadn't written that, so I was curious about that, so I just asked.
Good, very good. No, it was like well curated questions. Many times when we plan also, right, construct questions, you don't get it on the flow, right? But you were able to make it. So it was tough for me while answering, right? I have to make it up and think about it, right? Because sometimes the questions are so directly coupled. So I need to elaborate and more, because when you kept on talking about what did you like about education and all, I think so that was like there was something that we enjoyed, but at the same time we felt that it was not enough, right? So that is something I always feel that if we had more opportunities, more information about it can be career or finding the right way, right? I think those were not available. Maybe it was available or we were not exposed, right? I think that was one thing something it could have been better. Good.
Okay.
Got answers?
Thank you. Yes.